We are live. What is going on, YouTube? Sorry we are a few minutes late. This was our second try with this whole live thing. There may be another live stream out there somewhere.
They might find it. We tried to delete.
Not sure
our computer's not sitting on a kitchen pot. Can you guys send us a chat? Let us know you can see this. I see that a couple of you are on. Cowboys winning. Yay! That's the best comment of the day. Yeah, that interception by Sean Lee was key. Today, amigos, we are answering all of your questions. We asked you on Instagram over at Kinetic Kennons and on Facebook at Kinetic Kennons what questions you had. So we have a list compiled. We're going to answer all of your questions. We're going to give everybody just a minute or two to jump on before we get into answering the questions. And then we'll see if we can put something down like in the comments below, some of the different questions like time-stamped if you're not watching this live. That way you can go see which one
an answer to maybe your particular question or just see what all people ask.
Hi.
Susie Diaz, Ricardo Torres, Daniel, thanks for jumping on. Last night, we survived our first ever Mexican posada.
Of course we filmed it. We haven't even looked at the footage because we didn't even get up until noon today. But it was unlike anything that we expected. I expected the only other Christmas parties we've ever been to were like kind of for work or for friends back at home. And nothing like this, nothing like that happened. There was a Secret Santa exchange, which did happen, but other than that, it was nothing. It was more similar to a wedding where everyone ate and then everyone moved to where the DJ was. There was dancing. We made it until 3:30, which is so late for us. But I feel like we were some of the first people to leave. I don't know what time it lasted until, but we survived.
It's gonna be the latest I've stayed up since like.
It's gotta be a record.
College. There are bricks behind us. No, we are not in jail. Where are we from? We are from Texas. I'm from like the Dallas area. Actually, originally from Louisiana, but kind of grew up mostly in Texas. So I feel like we've been.
We're Texan, y'all.
Ya casi mexicanos por un ratito. Okay, we're gonna answer some of your questions here on live, and then also on Facebook and Instagram as well. We don't have any particular order. We're kind of going to go through and answer as many as we can. If you had one day, this is from Mark Papier. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm getting two in my brain. It's like, is it French? Is it English? Is it Spanish? I don't know. If you had one day and one night left in PV, what would you do? Also, can we hang out when we visit in March?
If we had one night, we would definitely go to our favorite taqueria Las Hueras. I might go hard and get 3 quesadillas since it was our last night. I would definitely walk the Malecon, not want to miss the sunset, put my toes in the sand. I think all of those. Thank you so much, Juan Castillo.
Juan Castillo.
I see this big thing that comes across with a little dancing.
I didn't know they had this
I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like this little dancing monster thing that says you are amazing. With our very first super chat. Thank you so much, Juan Castillo. Sorry, that was super distracting. You are amazing. It's doing like this.
And Las Hueras Taqueria. Las Hueras, the taco stand, the taqueria where we did the free tacos. That is, if you search El Brujo in Puerto Vallarta, it's by El Brujo, or what else? It's by Calle Naranjo y El Brujo. Hey, what else? What else is back there? That was another question here on Facebook. Headed to Julia. Why do I do the names? Julia.
Okay, Julia Madison. Headed to CDMX for Christmas. Any must-see holiday events or decorations? That's a great one.
The Zocalo. There's usually a big tree set up there.
I think the ice skating rink, I think they moved it back to the Zocalo.
There's an ice skating rink in the Zocalo. Although this year I heard it's not real ice, but I'm not sure. Either way, that's still super cool. Palacio de Hierro in downtown is really cool.
That whole area they go all out. They set up huge decorations. There's lots of music. There's lots of stuff going on in the Zocalo. Great place to grab hot chocolate or a warm ponche.
Daniel Perez, when you guys coming to Oaxaca? We don't have any like super plans to come to Oaxaca anytime soon because we went not that long ago. But we'll definitely be back. Oaxaca is always a place we're going to return to. We definitely want to go to the beaches of Oaxaca as soon as we possibly can.
Maybe.
Possibly February.
Sorry, I'm going to switch over to Instagram because I messed up Greg's phone. Instagram. Questions from Eugenio. How would you break up a relationship that's been there for a long while? These are unfiltered. This is actually live, so I'm not sure what to do with that. How would I break up a relationship? Twitter.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Don't take relationship advice from me. I'm not sure. In all seriousness, I'm sorry that you're going through that. Where should we spend New Year's Eve when in Vallarta? That's a great question that I actually am not sure. Those of you who have been to Vallarta during New Year's, that's a great question for you guys, or maybe down in the comments if you're not catching this on a replay.
I've got one. Okay. First off, I want to say we have a new member, Gerard. Sorry, thank you for becoming a new member. It's kind of like YouTube's version of Patreon. Thank you, Gerard. Jamie has an interesting question. What does the U.S. have that Mexico doesn't? That is an interesting question.
It's a really interesting question. They're very different. I would say when I first thought about that, I thought about like neighborhoods or the entire living situation.
Like subdivision type.
It's very different. And in Mexico, the places we've seen have fracs. I'm not sure how to even say that.
Fraccionamientos.
And I think those are smaller versions of subdivisions, but they're different. Everyone in the States has a car. So I would say what makes the States different, everyone has a car, whereas here I feel like not that many people have a car.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's I mean, both countries have a lot of the same things, but life is
super different.
It's just very different and spread out. And I think one thing Mexico has that the U.S. doesn't is, or like the way cities are built in Mexico, they're all built very centralized. I don't know, like even a town like this, maybe 20, 30,000 people or smaller Mexico is still, people live close together, it seems like in small towns in Mexico, whereas in the U.S., things are very, very spread out.
And especially in small towns in the United States, you're even further apart.
Super chat alert, Augustine Esquivel.
This is my
great question. Hey guys, any future plans to explore more cities and towns in Michoacan? Most definitely.
I want to go to Uruapan.
Yes.
I don't know how to say
we just couldn't make Uruapan this last time when we went to Pátzcuaro in Morelia. We just weren't able to make it happen. But yeah, there's definitely not.
I really liked Zirajuin. I'm not sure that we would make it back there.
But
I really liked the peacefulness and tranquility of the teeny tiny mountain lakes.
As well as seeing the monarch butterflies this time in Michoacan. We have seen it in Estado de Mexico near Valle de Bravo, but we have not seen it in Michoacan. Sorry, Teddy, I know there's a lot of questions. We're trying to get to as many as we can. Felipe asked, do we have any American friends in Puerto Vallarta? There's a lot of Americans in Vallarta.
Yeah, there are. Okay, trick question. Or just being a troll. There are a lot of people from Canada. There are a lot of people from the United States. I would say right now it seems way heavily towards Canadians, eh?
Yeah, there are a lot of Canadians. I've never been around this many Canadians. Juliana and, Martine's not American, but Juliana, they go together. They're all about to get married. They're packaged deal. Juliana is definitely our best friend here that is American. Best, I guess, regardless of nationality.
Yeah. Our CrossFit coach Sergio would like to know, where did Greg get his dance moves? I can only assume that question came from the posada last night.
Oh man, is there a video of that?
I've never seen Greg's hips. They do not lie. Let me tell you that. I didn't realize who that question was from. Let's see. What's your favorite thing to do besides eat, of course? That's a good, interesting one. I would say our favorite thing to do is very low key and may seem mundane, but we like long walks on the beach.
Yeah, no, but seriously, just the beach. I feel like the sunset.
We actually don't spend, I think if you guys caught one of our latest videos, we actually don't spend a lot of money on quote unquote entertainment. I think we're both fairly easily entertained by just walking outside, maybe going to grab ice cream. We do enjoy eating out. You guys have seen that a lot in our videos, but I feel like we really enjoy the food and that culture and sort of family style. We like working out sometimes. Yeah. Like if you ask us during, I feel like we like going to CrossFit though. I mean, it's something that we're really committed to, and
traveling. I mean, we like seeing new places. Armando.
Thank you so much for your super chat.
I know you don't roll that R, but I had to be dramatic. Thank you. We had an interesting question.
Are you guys learning Spanish? Sí.
We do know Bagaboom. I mean, we don't know him. I've heard of him. I've seen his stuff. Mexican for Golovkin. He's never missed it. He's never missed a live.
And
never missed a live.
That question is golden.
Ponche or atole? Y'all comment while we think ponche or atole if you've never had either.
I'm going to tell you guys what they are. So ponche is like a warm apple cider type drink. It's not the same as apple cider, but it's made with like fruits, and it's a very seasonal drink. Atole is corn.
Yeah, it's corn-based, I believe.
Corn-based. I think it tastes similar to hot chocolate because it's often flavored very heavily. So it's sweet, typically sweet. I think you get it unsweetened, and it's typically also seasonal. I think of it more as a wintertime drink that's served with tamale, so it's like corn overload. I gotta give it the ponche because I think of Christmas when I think of ponche. All things Christmas.
Yeah, ponche is pretty delicious. Armando asked on Facebook, when are we coming to Las Vegas? Actually, in 2020, we're going on family vacation with my dad.
I've never been.
Visit some magical towns. There's definitely there's like a list of probably 100 more that we need to see.
Places to visit next year in Mexico. We'll go top 3. I vote top 3. La Huasteca Potosina. It's really hard to get to, but super worth it if you're into outdoor things. Guanajuato, for a sort of typical Mexican colonial style town that's nothing really typical at all. And a beach place, I gotta give it to La Paz for the most beautiful water I've ever seen. Also a little tricky to get to, but I think that's sort of keeps it pristine and underdeveloped, which is super neat.
There's a lot of interesting. Have we been to see that? Juarez? We have, because we flew into Juarez and then went to El Paso. There's an interesting one on here I saw. Where's the market? Alan asked, where's the market where we buy fruits and vegetables? It is the Mercado Emiliano Zapata. So just search that and it'll come up. It's fairly small, easy to find in the neighborhood of Emiliano Zapata. Feria de San Marcos. Ya fuimos, amigo.
Yeah, we went last year. That was the craziest.
I mean, doesn't mean we won't go back. I'm just saying we have
the craziest.
Search Kinetic, Kennons, Feria de San Marcos.
Most people I've ever seen in my life. Let's see.
Do you have to have dual citizenship to live in Mexico? No, you do not. Susie, you can initially come here on a
tourist
visa that is good for 6 months, or you can get a temporary residency or a permanent residency. And actually getting, I mean, most like most countries, getting actual citizenship is fairly difficult. I think you have to kind of work through the stages.
Someone asked, was last night's party a traditional posada or was it like a party? I don't know because
we've never done. I think
based on it's traditional. There was a piñata.
I think only the piñata was kind of the traditional part. From what I've read online, it seems like we went to more of a party posada than a traditional posada.
What do they do at actual posadas?
I think they do songs and like carols and stuff like that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Christmas caroling?
Something like that. Am I wrong? Let me know. I'm probably wrong, but. What's our 5-year plan, Waylon? Ooh, that's deep, bro.
I don't even know our 5-day plan. Let's be real.
Our 5-hour plan. I think this is an interesting question from Jesus Dominguez. Forenzo. You guys should record a video with Tangerine Travels YouTube channel. They make the same videos in Mexico.
Yeah,
we're definitely very aware of them.
We actually bumped into them in Ajijic. We were staying at the same hotel. So we didn't film together, but we were able to hang with them off camera. We actually don't film a lot of videos with other people.
Not often.
Yeah.
Jesus Dominguez, why Mexico considering the overall risk of our social and political climate? I don't want to get too political, but the social and political climate in the U.S. isn't exactly super calm right now either. That's not why we moved to Mexico by any means. We moved here before the elections.
And it doesn't really, like,
day-to-day.
Political drama doesn't really affect your day-to-day. And if it does affect your day-to-day.
For most people, there are people who are, I could say, more susceptible. Affected by, the political climate. But, for us and really for most people, it's not something that has affected us. I guess if they change immigration laws in Mexico, obviously that would affect us.
When is the best time to visit Puerto Vallarta weather-wise? The weather here, it was like, it turned December 1st, and I feel like the weather was like, all right, it's time to let these people have a break. I feel like December has been absolutely amazing. The weather here has been so, so nice. Cold in the mornings and evenings, and by cold, I mean, I think like in the high 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So maybe like, I don't know, 21, 20 degrees Celsius. So we're total wimps.
Hill, your favorite Mexican band from Chaz Cohen?
Oh, Los Hombres G.
Yep.
Yeah, I only know a couple of their songs, but every time a song comes on, I feel like I
think that's the ones on Facebook.
Okay, let's see.
We are renting an apartment, Mark.
What's one thing that you just can't get used to in Mexican culture? Cueritos. Something that we can't get used to. I would say after last night, the staying up late. I do feel like in Mexico, it's typical. Even that you have like a late Sunday afternoon lunch, merienda. I know our friend Romy talked about having meriendas, and what I imagine is like that's like a super late type of thing. People eat dinner in Mexico around 8 to 10 p.m. and Greg and I are in bed. People can party late. I think just the overall being is up super late, and we cannot adjust to that.
No, apparently los hombres son de España.
Oh, really?
I did not know that.
Oh.
I don't know. We don't know our music very much. Our second guess, then I would say, is Cafe Tacuba. They're definitely from Mexico. Someone asked, interesting question, could you live in Vallarta on $2,000 a month? Most definitely. The trick is going to be like in what neighborhood or where, really. Like you can't live in a nice beachfront condo with a pool for $2,000 a month total. It's those days are gone. Maybe somewhere else in the area. We're not really real estate experts by any means. But yeah, definitely depending on what you're looking.
Someone else asked, how much is rent out there? And this is a question that we get asked quite often because people here at Mexico, they hear the words Mexico is cheap and they think, yeah, oceanfront 15-bedroom house for $200 US. And like Greg said, that's just not the case. And maybe it is in parts of Mexico, but it's definitely not the case here in Vallarta. So I would say in terms of how much is rent out here, I would say you can find, we have a friend who sometimes cuts Greg's hair and he pays 1,000 pesos a month or something like that, right?
For his place, yeah.
Which is around $50 US. There, we saw a post on Facebook a couple months ago that people were going to rent their oceanfront condo for around, I believe it was $2,000 or $3,000 US a month. So it's kind of like any other city that we've known. It's really hard to put an average price point. If you check Airbnb, the average price point right now, where looking at like the nice winter months here, I would say the average price is like, I don't know, $2,000 a month. Again, that's Airbnb and that's a bit expensive. If someone asked, is Sayulita cheaper? I would say no. Rent is going up here.
Yeah, Sayulita is kind of trendy, but maybe just on the outskirts somewhere of Sayulita, you might be able to find something. Again, definitely not experts. Traten de hablar español. ¿Por qué? You have a sister. Your sister have a boyfriend? Making cuñado jokes.
Yes.
Your
sister's boyfriend and my sisters are married. Sorry about you.
My other sister's 13, and that's just weird.
Let's see.
Do you miss American things like 65-inch TVs and air conditioning? Interesting enough, I mean, air conditioning is a tough one because it depends on, like in central Mexico, you're not going to find a lot of air conditioning.
TVs exist in Mexico.
But they have TVs here, but they are more expensive. Like things like electronics are more expensive, but they definitely have it. And like our apartment luckily enough, has air conditioning. So, I mean, you can find pretty much
without air.
Yeah.
But those.
And we moved.
Yeah.
Carlos. ¿Cuándo van a Zamora, Michoacán? No sé, amigo. No sé cuándo vamos a regresar a Michoacán, pero ojalá en 2020.
Other questions. I think the comments paused for a minute, so give us a minute.
Navarro.
K-Nut. Greg. Greg's an America fan. COC. Their comments is COC.
Someone asked if we felt, how safe do you guys feel from Navarro, Serge? Safe enough to live here. I mean,
actually, in a strange way, there are so many people walking and out and about that you're never really in a situation where you feel isolated. It just feels normal to be out and about. So I would say every time we're out and about, we feel comfortable.
I mean, I think the best answer is after the party last night at 3:30, we walked home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of says.
And there were other people out.
Yeah. Noel wants to know why we don't learn Spanish yet. We're trying, brother. We're trying. Yeah, just because we don't make videos or our content in Spanish doesn't mean we're not interacting with people in Spanish, not studying Spanish most every day. We just don't make content in Spanish, nor do we really have any plans to make content in Spanish. There are plenty of people that can make not only speak Spanish better than we can or ever will be able to, but can make content in Spanish way better than we're able to. So we're kind of sticking with our lane and going for it.
Someone asked, is Vallarta a cruise ship port? It is actually, and we don't really know. I don't even really notice when there's a cruise ship here, honestly, which is crazy because I realize it's like thousands of extra people in town. But
Waylon, would we ever buy a house in PV?
Oh yeah, that was a question on Instagram too. That's a great question. So the market works. The very, very limited amount of knowledge we have here is that the market works a bit differently in that it's much more cash driven, in which case that answer is a hard no. We don't have any equity. We didn't own anything in the United States, so we don't
not anytime soon because we're not planning on putting down a huge chunk of change into one.
Well, we don't have
a huge chunk of change.
Since we didn't have a house in the States.
We got to travel to other countries. Someone else asked us if we were going to travel just Mexico. I mean, obviously we want to travel to other places eventually, but I think right now we like the idea of Vallarta / Mexico being our home base for quite a while. And
do you guys have tattoos?
No tattoos.
No tattoos.
No tattoos, except for this barbed wire.
That's his mom. No, I don't like needles. Like the thought of even getting blood drawn really stresses me out. It makes me have sweaty hands.
Sonrisa, Greg, what are your favorite tamales oaxaqueños?
Yeah, but the other day you had one that was rajas.
It was oaxaqueña, or tamale oaxaqueña. Tamal oaxaqueño. That was rajas. Those are good.
Turbo pickle.
Thank
you so much for your super chat, Turbo Pickle.
I'm not like a huge, un tamal is probably pretty low on my list of favorite Mexican foods, but when they're good, they're good.
They're growing. I feel like they're growing. I feel like last you had una corunda.
Corundas are good.
Yeah, thank you so much, Turbo Pickle. You've also been with us for so long.
Yeah, Ramirez, we should watch boxing whenever Canelo fights. Yeah, Canelo's super entertaining to watch. I don't too cheap to pay for an HBO fight, but I like watching the replays, and his training stuff is fascinating to watch. Are we planning to stay in Mexico permanently? Yeah, I mean.
Why does Loretta look sad? That's just my face.
We drank too much last night. That's why.
And that's just my face.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it in a video the other day. Going back to the States was like a huge eye opener for us, and it's our family being there and being away from our family a lot of times is really hard for us, and does legitimately make us sad because we can't go to things or be at things. But at the same time, we realize that the States, the longer we're here in Mexico, the longer we get used to life here, the more we feel like we just don't fit in this.
At this time in Mexico. Someone asked if we work out. Do we work out? Yeah, we work out Monday through Friday. And I actually like working out here, which is something that I never thought I would say ever.
Yeah.
Don't tell the coach.
We try and work out every day. I don't know if this is working out. We'll keep answering the question. AAA, AQUAC. Do you guys like to read? I like to read. Hillary.
No.
Not so much.
How would you read when you cannot? It says unable to connect to. I think that leaves it at that. Everyone wants to be with their family in the United States, and we're thankful for the opportunity to have that opportunity. So that's where we'll be. There have been tons and tons of questions.
Shout out to Mike. I don't know if this is working. He still says unable to connect.
I don't know anything about that. Real estate, it's I don't know.
We don't really know what raising a family
I don't know what taking a baby to the doctor would be like here. I think again that would come down to our family is not here.
Yeah, that'd be the hardest thing.
I think that'd be the hardest thing with a baby.
Obviously, other than the baby itself.
Other than the squawking nugget you have to take care of.
What else? What on YouTube? I like Peter McKinnon. I don't know if it's working or something. What else do we watch? Sports stuff.
Funny cat fails.
Just kind of
cute babies.
Joe Rogan podcast. Kind of dumb stuff. I don't know. Yeah.
We don't really. Well, Greg watches YouTube more than I do, but I don't ever get on YouTube. I don't have YouTube on my phone.
I like H3.
Yeah, fun. We watch funny, stupid stuff. We use all to watch us.
Ivan from Denton, Texas. What up? What up? Let's see if we'll get any more. Yeah, we definitely don't watch much travel stuff, and we don't watch any Mexico stuff. I always feel like if I watch something, like if I watch someone's video about like Oaxaca, I feel like if I watch it, I'm gonna inadvertently rip it off. Like I'm gonna see and be like, oh, that's a good shot, or oh, they went to this place.
You gotta try it.
So we try not to do that for that reason, just because I want our experience. And Wi-Fi is messing up.
I'm sorry, we can't answer any more questions. Right now, we can't. Let's see.
We should try some different fruit. There's a lot of fruit.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. You're right.
Try Jack Place. Because it looks like we're having some internet, some of our pre-posada plans / shopping. And then probably on Thursday, we'll post the video of.
I don't know if you'll see this, but have a good rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye.